Mr. Chairman, Honorable Minister Damien Crawford, Mr. Chairman of the School Board, Chairman of the Trust, Madam Principal, members of staff, alumni of St. Andrew Technical High School, thank you so much for this invitation to share with you this evening. This is the first time since my incumbency as Minister of Education that I have had the opportunity to speak to an alumni group, and I welcome that opportunity. I wonder if you understand the importance of what your school stands for. In your own personal experiences, I'm sure that you are redolent of good memories, fine experiences, which is what brings you here today. But there is a message that you have for the nation, I believe, and its educational enterprise at this time. The first message is to affirm the supreme importance of education, both to personal advancement and national development. 2 or 3 generations ago, certainly when St. Andrew Technical was formed, it was accepted without question that education was the only legitimate way to social advancement. I fear that in recent times we have diluted that consciousness somewhat. There are some of us who feel that if we can only run so fast or bust a tune or take off most of our clothes in a public place if we're ladies, or if we can manage the lottery scam, that somehow we can get ahead, and that in fact this nation needs, with the aid and comfort of persons like yourself, to re-establish that education is the most important priority, both of Jamaica and of every community and parent, adult person. If we have this consciousness, then our priorities are going to be sharpened. I believe that the government must concentrate on education, health, and national security. And then all those other things that we are accustomed to do will be added on to us. We could find the most valuable resources under the earth of Terra Nova Hotel, and it would go through the system like a dose of salts unless we have a trained workforce. Am I right? But then there is even a more focused lesson for the graduates and the alumni of the St. Andrew Technical High School. Because the United Nations tells us with irrefutable logic that some 80% of the jobs worldwide that are going to be available in the 21st century are jobs which have a strong technical and vocational content. And therefore, the core of St. Andrew Technical and the other technical schools in Jamaica must never be diluted. And in fact, the example of and the inculturation of technical and vocational competencies in education cannot stay only with the technical schools, but must suffuse every element of education that we have. And therefore, what you represent tonight, as you come to celebrate and to enhance the St. Andrew Technical experience, is indeed of much, much greater significance even than your own experience would entail. Ladies and gentlemen of St. Andrew Technical, your effort at a trust fund is to be lauded. If we are going to get beyond the shift system and the untenable teacher-student ratios in the education system, we need close to 100,000 new secondary school places in Jamaica right now, and probably half that number of new primary school places. And it is impossible for the state to afford those advances, and yet it is unacceptable for Jamaica as a nation not to achieve them. And therefore the partnerships between alumni, between private sector and the state and the community are of absolute importance, and everyone must play their part. There is no such thing as free education or free anything that is valuable. It is only a matter of who pays for it. We gentlemen know that love is not free. Not even salvation is free. It was bought at a great price. And therefore let us not tarry with arguments as to who should pay for what. It is a matter of who can contribute to the best of their ability, everyone, so that we achieve what is the primary ambition and objective of every conscious individual, which is to ensure that the next generation is better off than ours. And therefore I commend you as you advance the fortunes of a trust fund for St. Andrew Technical High School. And I would hope that your example will be infectious, and that in fact we will have trust funds being developed by as many schools as possible in Jamaica, and that some of the so-called new schools, newer schools, will also take this opportunity and will galvanize their alumni here and abroad, because the diaspora connection is of extreme importance, in order that we may supplement the offering that is available at schools such as yours. And I beg to submit that it's not just a matter of money, although that is very important, but the presence and the mentorship that you can offer to the students of St. Andrew Technical is of inestimable importance. The shared discipline of your enterprise and your personalities honed at St. Andrew Technical and elsewhere will be of great significance to add to the resources that are already available at your school. And I would like, for the moment, just to remind us of the origins of the great educational institutions and how important the trusts and the beneficence of persons, both of religious bent and of humanistic fervor, have been to the education system. When St. Andrew Technical started, it was in the midst of a dust bowl at Bumper Hall, was it not? And look at the mighty institution that you have now. And when Gibson and Powell and Sherlock and Mary Olson and Ward and the Jesuits and the Sisters of Mercy and Mannings and Drax and Monroe and Dickinson and Beckford and Smith all gave of themselves to set up educational institutions, they didn't start with 3-story buildings and replete laboratories and laboratories, did they? They started on the back veranda of the rectory or under the mango tree in front of the convent. And from these humble beginnings have risen some great institutions, and St. Andrew Technical is one such. This did not happen by accident. It is due to the strength and the faithfulness of persons who, like those who you are going to honor this evening, yes, that have made this possible. My pleasure in coming here this evening was greater because I evoked the memories as a young person coming back from university of my interaction with that great stalwart of St. Andrew Technical, the late Mr. Isaac Henry. And I had the occasion to watch him as he interacted and mingled with the principals and others of the name brand schools. And he asserted himself with a dignity and a fixity of purpose as to the centrality, not the marginality, the centrality of technical and vocational education, which recommended itself. So tonight, on behalf of the Ministry of Education, we come to pay humble tribute to you to those who you will honor, and indeed to the philosophy and tradition that undergirds St. Andrew Technical High School. You are to be proud because you emerge from a goodly heritage. And I would urge you, as you go forward beyond this 50 years, to enlarge your tents as the prophet Isaiah would enjoin, so that more and more students from perhaps ordinary backgrounds can do extraordinary things because they are no longer being tutored in old ways that no longer perhaps have much meaning to a modern generation. But they are being taught to do things with their hands and to articulate their brains with their hands, and so to be useful persons to themselves. There is one last word that I would say. Recently, I have been approached by persons who recruit skilled industrial professionals from the Canadian provinces of British Columbia and Alberta. And they would wish to employ hundreds, actually, of Jamaicans for the new oil sands industry every month. And they want pipe fitters and steam fitters and carpenters and plumbers and electricians and barbers and hairstylists and drivers and a myriad of professions which Jamaicans could well fill, as well as fill the opportunities which we expect to burgeon in a revived Jamaican economy. Many of the persons who they interview, they tell me, have this particular skill, but they don't have the competencies of English and of mathematics in order to get the certification which is required to hold these lucrative jobs. And therefore the twin purposes of our technical schools, broadly defined, must be to make sure that there is no mistake in the basic competencies of language and of mathematics. There must be no mistake and no second guessing that. At the same time as the students are urged to go on and develop those technical and vocational competencies, which are no longer for the what left, the ones who are not so bright, but to be brought center stage for the development of the individual and the upliftment of the nation. The chairman dropped word on me earlier about my participation in your trust fund endeavors, and I probably exceed my authority tonight by saying that if you have a good project at St. Andrew Technical, whatever you raise, the Ministry of Education will try to match. With that challenge and that hope, I thank you once again for your generous invitation.